can do that. I'm going to offer you two different options for how you might like to be lying down, and one is using a chair. So you might see I've got a chair here. One option could be to start with your legs elevated up on the seat of a chair. So this is one that I just always keep with a blanket on top, especially if your chair is quite firm. It's nice to have some extra padding there. So one option could be to elevate your legs up on a chair or even a couch, and then lie yourself down there. And then another option, if you don't have a chair or you just don't want to put your legs up on a chair, another option could be to lie on your back with your feet planted to the floor, with your knees and feet a little wider than your hips. And then from there, you might like to bring your knees in together. So it could be like a pyramid shape with your legs. If you're feeling cool, you might like to pop a blanket over top. So choosing how you'd like to begin. Maybe you've elevated your legs up on a chair, or maybe you have your feet to the floor with your knees bent, possibly bringing your knees in together. You can decide whether it feels right to place your hands on your belly, or maybe you like to have your arms out to the sides and hands could be resting down to the ground. Take some time to find your way to where you'd like to begin. And then once you're there, if it feels right for you, you could let your eyes gently close. Taking notice of where your body is connecting to the ground beneath you. Noticing all those connection points. If you have your legs up on a chair, noticing your legs connecting to the chair. And if you have your feet and legs to the floor, noticing that connection of your feet to the floor. Noticing how the back of your body, maybe your arms, rest on the ground. Noticing your shoulder blades and the back of your head connecting to the ground. Maybe you could also notice the places where your clothing is touching your body, or if you have a blanket where your blanket rests on your body. And then just taking a moment here to acknowledge how you're feeling in this moment. What's been going on for you today? Acknowledging any feelings or emotions that may be present. And start to bring your awareness to your breath. And if you're bringing your awareness to your breath, can you feel your breath flowing in and out of your nostrils? Or maybe you can notice the sensation of your breath on the inside of your throat. Or maybe you can notice the movement of your rib cage as you breathe. Or maybe you can notice the movement of your belly as you breathe. And then if it feels okay for you, holding your awareness on your breath for another few moments. Nothing else you need to do right now. Noticing your body connecting to the ground and noticing the natural flow of your breath. In a moment, there will be some invitations for some gentle, mindful movement. Checking in with how you're feeling, and know that if you prefer to stay resting, if you prefer to be in stillness, that's totally okay. If you feel that you do want to begin to move, those of you with your legs up on a chair, you might start to bring your knees away from the chair, and knees could come closer towards your chest. And same if you had your feet to the floor, you might start to bring your knees a little bit closer in towards your chest. And possibly making some movements here by circling your knees in just fairly small circles, giving your lower back a massage on the ground as you do so. If you're doing those circles, you might also want to change direction. Beautiful. Okay, I'll invite you to roll yourself over onto one side. Those of you that were using a chair, you might want to kind of move a little bit away from your chair so that you're not going to be banging your legs into the chair. So I'm going to invite you to come onto the side of your body, and then having your knees bent like an L shape with your legs, and having your knees and feet stacked on top of each other. And remember, if you want to keep on resting, that's totally fine. If you do want to start to move, you could find your way into this shape with knees bent on the side of your body. You could rest your head in your hand, or another option could be to reach that lower arm out and rest your head down. Or you might even want to pop a blanket or cushion in underneath your head. And then if you would like to begin to move, you might start to lift your upper knee and upper leg to point your knee up, and then possibly making some circling movements here. So you might be moving from your hip joint. This could be fairly tiny circles, or you might want to make your movement bigger, and you can be moving at whatever pace suits you. And if you are circling, you might like to try the other direction. And remember, you can pause at any time. You could keep going with those circles if you want to, or you might like to pause and then maybe exploring some movement into your foot and your ankle joint. So one option could be to circle here with your knee bent, or another option could be to extend that leg up and circle your ankle there. Maybe some circles, maybe you're wriggling your toes, Maybe there's some other way you want to move your foot. If you are making circles, you could also reverse. Noticing how that feels. Where are you noticing sensation in your body? If you are doing those ankle circles, maybe pausing there. And if you do want to have your leg extended up, and it's fine to have your knee more bent, or maybe you want to head towards straightening through your leg. And then option to reach one arm, your upper arm, towards your toes. So maybe you're reaching up towards your toes, maybe you're taking hold of your leg, or maybe you're even reaching your toes. Possibly holding it there, letting your breath flow easily. Whenever you're ready to release, that hand could come back down, lowering your foot, and smoothly that upper leg returns down to the lower leg. Very nice. So I'm going to invite you to repeat that for your next side. So if you want to, you could roll yourself over, and I will be facing the camera though. So you could be facing towards the screen, or you could just roll over onto your next side. And take your time to find your way, bending your knees, feet and knees on top of each other. Have a wriggle. Decide how you want to rest your head. Okay, if you'd like to begin to move here, you could start to lift your upper leg, so knee might start to point upwards, possibly making some movements, maybe circling into your hip joint. This could be really tiny circles, or those circles could be bigger. You can move at whatever pace is going to feel helpful for you. You could also change direction with those circles. Great. And remember, you can pause at any time. So the next one that I'll offer you is maybe some movement into your foot and your ankle. So that could be with your knee bent, or maybe sending that leg upwards. You could wriggle your toes, you could circle into your ankle joint, or maybe there's some other way you'd like to move your foot. If you're circling, you could also try the other direction. Noticing what sensations you can feel. Paying attention to your body and paying attention to your breath. And feel free to continue, or you might like to pause, maybe sending your leg up. Remember, you can have your knee more bent here if you want to. Possibly reaching your arm, your upper arm, to reach up towards your toes, or you might be able to even reach your toes, or maybe you're holding onto your leg. Pausing there if that feels okay. Noticing where you can feel a stretch, or what other sensations might you be noticing. And once you do feel ready to release, that hand could come back down, lowering your foot, bend your knee, and bringing that leg back to rest on the other leg. Okay, so I'll invite you from there to come to an all fours position. So All fours could be on your hands and your knees, or it might feel better for you to come down onto your elbows. Other options could be, if you do have blankets, maybe you'd like to pop a blanket in underneath your knees or underneath your hands or underneath your elbows, depending on what's going to feel better for you. So a few options there. And if you are on your hands, maybe try spreading your fingers out. See how that feels. Maybe some swaying movements from side to side. If you're doing swaying movements, these could be fairly small, or if you do want to make them bigger, one option could be to turn your head so that you're looking back towards your feet. So maybe some swaying movements. You could keep going with swaying, or another option could be to make some circles, circling around. Your choice how big or how small your movements are. And it's always your choice if you want to rest at any point. If you are circling, you might want to try the other way as well. Okay, so whenever you feel ready to finish with that one, you could come back to a neutral position. And then I'll invite you to start to sit back towards your heels as though you're almost coming into child's pose, but maybe not quite all the way there. And then coming forwards once again. So maybe some movement sitting back towards your heels, maybe part of the way or maybe more towards your heels, and then coming forwards again. And then the other thing you might like to explore here, totally up to you, you might like to start to explore some movements through your spine. So maybe arching your spine and then rounding your spine. Just see if that suits you to make some arching and rounding movements through your spine. As you move forwards and then back. And whether you decide that you want to continue moving or maybe you'd like to come all the way to child's pose. So there's a few different options for child's pose as well. Maybe you want to have your knees close in together, or maybe you want to take your knees further apart. You could be resting your forehead right down to your mat or to the floor, or maybe you have a folded up blanket or a cushion that you'd like to pop underneath your forehead, or you could use your hands or stack your fists so you have something to rest your forehead on. So if you are coming to child's pose, if that feels right, you might want to pause there, closing your eyes, softening your face, softening around your shoulders, and maybe a sense of lengthening along the back of your spine. If you're pausing there, maybe you could also notice the natural flow of your breath. Checking in with how you're feeling, paying attention to your body and paying attention to your breath. Okay, so if you want to stay for longer, you're more than welcome to, or if you feel ready to start to come on up, then just gradually, in your own time, you might like to make your way up to a kneeling position, or if kneeling doesn't feel right for you, you can stretch your legs forwards as well. Then I'll invite you to make some movements through your shoulders. That could be shoulders going forwards and then back a few times, or maybe circling around. Or another option could be fingertips onto your shoulders and then elbows circle around. And if you want to, you could also change your direction. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to start to set yourself up for the yoga nidra practice. So this is like a guided meditation practice, which will go for about 15 minutes, maybe slightly longer. And I do recommend that you be in a really supportive resting position. So if you liked either of those that I suggested right at the start of the session, with your legs up on the chair or lying on your back with your feet planted to the floor, either of those might be nice. Or if you have a yoga bolster, or it could be a couple of like rolled up blankets making a bolster shape. If you'd like to be lying on your back but have some support for your legs, you could place your legs and the backs of your knees over your bolster or your rolled up blankets. Arms could go out wide. I do recommend having a blanket over top of your body and an eye pillow or an eye cover for over your eyes. So there's 3 different suggestions, but there might be a different way that feels better for you to be resting. And please take your time to set yourself up. I'm going to be moving over to the singing bowls in a moment. Yeah, so take your time. Even if you need to go and grab an extra blanket or some cushions or something. And once you're starting to settle into your resting position, you might want to make some small movements there. So by small movements, I mean maybe you want to make some wriggling movements for your hands, your fingers, your wrists, your feet, your ankles, your toes. Maybe you're having a wriggle through your shoulders as you're settling in. Or maybe you're turning your head slowly from side to side. Everything is optional, so the stillness is optional as well. If you feel that you need to continue making small movements, that's totally okay. Or maybe you're starting to find some stillness. I invite you to return your awareness to the natural flow of your breath. observing each breath traveling in, observing each breath traveling out. I thought I would share some words with you from Pema Chodron, and this is about having loving kindness towards yourself. Loving kindness, Maitri, towards ourselves doesn't mean getting rid of anything. Maitri means that we can still be crazy after all these years. We can still be angry after all these years. We can still be timid or jealous or full of feelings of unworthiness. The point is not to try to change ourselves. Meditation practice isn't about trying to throw ourselves away and become something better. It's about befriending who we are already. The ground of practice is you or me or whoever we are right now, just as we are. Offering yourself some loving kindness, accepting yourself in this moment, just as you are. If you haven't already, you might like to close your eyes, or maybe you have your eye cover over your eyes. I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness into different areas of your body. And wherever you're taking your awareness, allowing those places to soften, allowing any tension or tightness in those places to melt away. Start by bringing your awareness to the top of your head and softening there at the top of your head, softening at the back of your head, softening all the muscles of your face. Softening your forehead, your eyes and the backs of your eyes. Softening at your temples, your ears and inside your ears. Your nose and inside your nostrils. And softening your lips and the inside of your mouth. Softening all around your jaw. And softening on the inside of your head. Softening your neck muscles at the front and at the back of your neck. And softening on the inside of your throat. Softening around your collarbones. softening around the backs of your shoulder blades. Softening inside both of your shoulders, both upper arms, both elbows, lower arms, both wrists, softening both of your hands, and softening all of your fingers and both thumbs. Bringing your awareness to your chest, softening at the front of your rib cage and the back of your rib cage and both sides of your rib cage, and softening on the inside of your chest. Now bringing your awareness to your abdomen, softening your upper abdomen, your navel center, and your lower abdomen. Softening at the back of your pelvis and the front of your pelvis, and on the inside of your pelvis. Softening on the inside of your hip sockets, both of your thighs, both knees, lower legs, both of your ankles, softening both of your feet, and softening all of your toes. Letting any tension melt away. Allowing the whole of your body to soften. From the crown of your head down into the tips of your fingers, right down into the tips of your toes. Offering yourself loving kindness, care, and compassion. Now I invite you to visualize a color. Maybe it's your favorite color. or maybe it's a color that just seems to come to you. You might like to visualize that color flowing through your whole body. Your whole body softening, offering yourself kindness, care, and compassion. And letting that color flow through your entire body and the whole of your being. Now taking notice once again of where your body is connecting to the ground beneath you. Noticing those places of connection. And if you haven't already, you might like to place one hand or both hands to somehow connect with your body. I invite you to take a moment here to say thank you to yourself for giving yourself this time to practice yoga this evening. inviting a feeling of gratitude into your heart center. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings dwell in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all beings never be parted from freedom's true joy. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening. It's been a pleasure to share this practice with you. Namaste.